gigabit internet speed. Whip City Fiber, turning Westfield's neighborhoods into fiberhoods. On the web at whipcityfiber.com.
We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646. Discussions of local politics, events, happenings, and miscellany potpourri. Ken's Den, Tuesday, 8 to 10. Live from the campus of Westfield State University, this is 89.5 FM, WSKB, Westfield.
Thank you very much for coming. It's always great to be at Chateau Saint-Michel.
Thank you. Brazil, where hearts were entertaining June. We stood beneath an amber moon and softly murmured, someday soon. We kissed and clung together then. Tomorrow was another day. The morning found me miles away, with still a million things to say.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and that is the song called Brazil by Storm Large and Pink Martini. That's one of these songs you'll be able to hear at the UMass Fine Arts Center this coming season, which kicks off pretty much with the school year in September. Joining us live on the phone from UMass is their Director of Marketing, Miss Sean Farley. Good morning, Sean. How are you?
Good morning, Patrick. I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm not used to this, Sean. My guests are usually next to me.
I know, with a coffee.
Well, I wrap my coffee on my end. I hope you have yours on your end.
I do.
So hopefully, and again, I think in my 4 years here, Sean, I think I've only done one phone interview. So you're a special guest for me, being number two on the phone side. So my question is, were you able to hear that music that we did the intro?
Yes.
Okay, so explain a little bit about that song and the performance that Storm Large and Pink Martini are going to be in.
Well, anyone who has seen or heard Pink Martini, you know, Storm Large is like, there's two vocalists that travel with Pink Martini. One is China, I forget what her last name is, and Storm Large. So, and Storm, I mean, she's she can handle anything on her own. So even though she won't be with Pink Martini, she will be with another ensemble.
Wow.
But she is so wickedly funny. So, I mean, she's charming. She has an incredible voice. And so for this, it's more of a, as she calls it, her holiday ordeal. So, and I think we can all relate to that.
Oh,
yes,
yeah,
we
yeah,
love
yeah.
the holidays, but yes, they can also be somewhat of an ordeal. So this concert is really going to be, sort of, lots of storytelling, laughing. It's an adult-only holiday program. So there will be some material that are really just for adults. So we like to say that it's mature content.
Right, and that's early December this year, correct?
That's December 5th, correct.
Very good, very good.
So if you're looking for some adult holiday frivolity and laughter and great music. I mean, she's, as you heard on that song, she can sing a song like no one else.
Yeah, great voice. So is it sort of a like a cabaret style performance?
Yeah,
even though it's in the big
in the concert hall.
In the big
correct.
concert hall, right? Okay. But
Yeah.
I mean, her voice has that sort of. Yeah, I don't know. It sounds, remember the 1930s, like, cabaret type
they're
things.
kind of vintagey.
Right.
Yeah. Where, you could be, what I like to think about, which is one of my favorite holiday musicals, which is White Christmas.
Right.
And all those great lounges, cocktail lounges they were at, and supper clubs, those, the old days, Pink Martini and Storm Large, the kind of entertainment you'd be seeing there, you know.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So
Rosemary Clooney at Storm Large. So it'll be a lot of fun.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Yeah.
So I mentioned at the very start, the season kicks off roughly, you know, with the school year. What is the first performance of the year?
Well, we're very excited that, you know, we're going to be kicking it off with a kind of jazz fest, if you
Nice.
will. We're calling it Jazz Flight, and it starts on Thursday, September 27th, with Angelica Sanchez's Nonette. So she's pretty well known in the avant-garde jazz world, but she adds a more of a lyrical component to the avant-garde jazz, so it's very accessible. And then on Friday night, we have Amir El-Safar's Two Rivers Ensemble, and he's Middle Eastern. So his sextet combines the Arabic modal system and with the, you know, American jazz form, and it's really beautiful what they're able to create with mixing those two backgrounds. And then on Saturday, we have Dee Dee Bridgewater and Memphis Symphony. So that's going to be, you know, vintage soul and blues, and we're going to have some Memphis barbecue on the plaza beforehand.
Wow.
And yeah, it's just going to be a lot of fun.
All right, Jay and I will be there.
Yeah,
You had us at
it'll be
barbecue.
fun. Yeah. So
That sounds like a phenomenal weekend to start the year.
Yeah, we have a package so you can buy all three. It's, you know, basically you're getting one of them for free. And then there will also be opportunities to buy the beer tasting and also the barbecue.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So how do you find these performers? Where is it? You know, do you know them, or have you met them in passing throughout your career and coordinate them coming to campus? Or how do you find them?
Well, that's an interesting question. A lot of people ask that question, actually. Well, we have curators. We have programming curators who select the programming based on a lot of things, based on our community, based on the quality of the artists. Also, are they touring? Are they touring through through New England? You know, we have the unique opportunity to have artists come to the Fine Arts Center who just performed in New York City and are heading to Boston, or vice versa. You know,
Nice.
so we are able. So, you know, maybe we don't have a Saturday night performance of some of these artists, but we get them on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. But then we can also offer these incredible artists at a fraction of the cost that you'd see them in New York City.
Well, that's exactly it. You know,
Yeah.
and plus, for those of us living in the Pioneer Valley, you know, it may not be that convenient to head to New York or Boston on a weekend to go see some of these folks. So,
Exactly.
you know, within 20, 30 minutes, you're up on campus, you're at the Fine Arts Center in the main concert hall or one of the other venues, and you see world-renowned performers.
Exactly. And, you know, I think this season is a little different than our seasons in past, because we're really trying to find artists who are trying new ideas, crossing genres, you know, and using media along with music or theater with music to create a whole new experience. So we're really looking forward to this next season.
That's good. You know, your description there of this coming season reminded me of a show, I want to say it was maybe last October or November, the Bubble performance.
Oh, yes, the Underwater Bubble Show.
So I could not make that night, and I believe some of the women from my office went up. How was that? And you talk about using media and using other things to entertain. Give us a little bit of an idea of what the Bubble Show was, and how did it turn out?
Oh, it was great. And it was so many different people came to that. It was a show that was for families, for adults. It was just a blast. It was it was a company from Eastern Europe, and it was telling a story, you know. So it's nice to have a story or a theme to something. And it was the story of this guy who, you know, kind of bored with his job, kind of went on this fantasy trip underwater. And so it was, there were larger than life fish and whales and bubbles and balls that would come out into the audience. And, I watched it, and, because I like to hear what audience members say,
right.
So I'm kind of incognito. But adults and kids alike were just enthralled with it. Yeah, it was just so much fun.
And the nice thing about what I've learned through you and seeing some of the performances up there, they're more often than not family events.
Yes.
They're different genres of entertainment, whether it's dance or jazz or classical or whatever it might be. But the vast majority of what goes on stage up there is you bring the family to.
Absolutely, and especially if you have one of your children or all of them are interested in particular, they're studying music, like they're playing in the band or something. We have so many area high school students who are in jazz bands of their own, and so we have so many jazz performances of so many different kinds of jazz for these students to come to. We also have a summer program called Jazz in July, so people don't even have to wait until the fall to come to the Fine Arts Center, because we have an incredible summer program with jazz performances by renowned jazz performers, faculty, and then also the students perform. So, yeah, I think we provide a lot of different touch points for families. You know,
one of the things I always suggest to folks in the greater Westfield, specifically the students, younger residents who might be interested in theater or music, take the opportunity to go to a performance so you can see, if you're 13 years old and you love, playing the trombone or whatever it might be, or you like acting in a local community theater, go to one of these performances to see the professionals.
Right.
And like I said earlier, you don't have to go far. It's, a short drive.
And the thing, Patrick, is for 5 college students and youth 17 and under, tickets are $10 or less.
Oh, God.
$10.
It's a no-brainer, Sean.
I know. I know. And even the adult tickets, bring your parents, because they're very reasonable too. We understand that, if we want people to come to the Fine Arts Center, we got to keep the tickets accessible. So we don't raise the ticket prices, from year to year. We've been maintaining, a decent ticket price. I think the most expensive ticket price is like $45.
Oh, that's not bad.
So
that's not bad.
No, and that's for like the trucks, the drag ballet company, or at the 4 Broadway show, it might go to $60 or something.
Right.
But still very reasonable for this area.
Excellent. We're coming up on having to take our first break, so we're going to take a moment to thank some of our underwriters, and it's going to be a short break, Sean, so we'll be right back.
Okay.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Wally Computer Associates, one of the largest technology providers in North America. Headquartered in Southwick, Wally provides all of the products and services that you'd expect from a world-class technology partner to schools, colleges, businesses, as well as state and local governments and agencies. Wally Computer Associates, meeting all of your technology needs. On the web at WCA.com. Underwriting for community radio is provided by the YMCA of Greater Westfield. Every day, the YMCA strengthens the community through programs and services focused on youth development, healthy living, and social responsibility. For all the Y's many programs and services, visit us on the web at www.westfieldymca.org. The YMCA, 67 Court Street in downtown Westfield. We're more than a gym. We're a cause. We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646.
Discussions of local politics, events, happenings, and miscellany potpourri. That's what you'll find on Ken's Den, Tuesdays from 8 till 10.
Live from the campus of Westfield State University, this is 89.5 FM, WSKB, Westfield.
Good morning, everybody. It is 8:15 Friday morning, June 8th, 2018. Currently about 61 degrees outside your door, getting up to a beautiful 81 today. The stretch of weather we have for the foreseeable future, and I can only see about 4 or 5 days out, because I don't want to tell you what it's going to be like on next Wednesday. But anyway, the up through Tuesday is absolutely perfect weather. So get out and enjoy. For those local students here in Westfield from the Westfield Technical Academy who graduated last evening, congratulations to each of you. Tonight is Westfield High School graduation. My youngest, Sean, is accepting her high school diploma tonight, finally.
I know. Congratulations.
I can't wait to get her out. No. Did I just say that out loud? No.
I think she may have heard that one.
I love my little cherub, but
you know that's going to come back.
It'll come back and bite me. So, yes. So the weather we're going to have tonight for Westfield High School graduation, because it's outdoors, is going to be, again, absolutely phenomenal. So a beautiful, beautiful weekend to get out and enjoy the local area. So enjoy it. Live on the phone with me is Sean Farley, Director of Marketing for the UMass Fine Arts Center. Good morning, Sean.
Good morning, all.
We joked earlier that I'm not used to having phone guests, so this is sort of a unique interview for me. But thank you for joining us. I know you were traveling earlier this week, and coming back from the West Coast could not be easy getting up for you this morning, so thank you for doing that.
Well, I won't even go into the, airline nightmare, of getting in at 2:30 in the morning instead of 6:40 the night before.
Ouch.
So, yeah.
It's interesting because about a month ago, I traveled to Southern California to visit a friend of mine, and maybe it's an age thing, Sean. It took me about a week just to get back into the East Coast rhythm. It was the strangest. I thought I'd bounce right back. It's only 3 hours, but it was just, it hit me. I don't know why.
Yeah, I feel like I've had jet lag, for the last couple days here. And
like I said,
we're on a different time frame.
We're not as young as we once were.
I know, right? Please.
So, Sean, thank you for joining me. We're here today. I'm subbing in for Mark Auerbach, who is your normal Friday morning ArtsBeat radio host. Mark had other commitments today. So, and Mark, as most people know, writes an ArtsBeat column for the Westfield News Group each and every week, and also does theater and performance reviews. He goes up to UMass quite often during the season to see what's going on stage up there and provide us reviews. This coming season, Sean, I'm looking at. I've got the brochure that you sent me, the season season preview. Unbelievable! It is chock full of a wide variety of genres. I mean, from the season opening jazz performances, which you talked about, classical music, world arts, and then the song that started this show, Storm Large's Holiday Ordeal, to more popular music. And then there's also theater performances. So you have a wonderful, wonderful lineup this coming season.
Oh, yeah, I think we do. And, really, I think what we hang our hat on is the diversity that we have. You'll be able to go see Stevie Wonder and some of the more popular acts at MGM in Springfield, and maybe, someone else at the Calvin Theater in Northampton. But we bring artists from all over the world. So, maybe some dance companies that you haven't heard from, like Ballet Hispanico or the Nitragram Dance Ensemble, the Indian Dance Company.
And it's lovely that you offer that, because you bring up Stevie Wonder coming to MGM, or some of the other acts coming to Northampton or Springfield or Mohegan Sun or wherever, or Hartford. Normally those are, I hate to say it, your run of the mill, your regular performers. But as I look through this season lineup, it's really worldly. I mean, there's talent from all over, which is phenomenal.
Yeah, and it's an opportunity to see an art form from another part of the world, and at a reasonable ticket price. And we're not just bringing in anyone. I mean, these artists have to be proven to be excellent. They're very good artists.
Now, I know everybody in the program, and that'll be on the stages this year, deserves equal billing. But is there one performance that sort of maybe might be a little bit head and shoulders above all the others this coming season?
You're making me
it's hard to
choose one of our children here? I don't know.
Or maybe a better question was is there one that was harder to secure because they're so popular elsewhere that you really wanted them on campus, and you were finally able to secure them this year?
Wow. Well,
CJ, I'm good at that. Sometimes I put my guests on the spot.
You do. Well, I have to say, there's probably there's a couple, I guess I would say. One is Kodo. They're the Japanese drummers who they don't tour every year. So this is their 2019 world tour.
Wow.
So they don't make too many stops, So we were lucky to
So that's
be
a
one
good
of them.
grab for you guys.
Yeah,
If they have a very limited performance schedule.
Yeah. In fact, we booked them like a year and a half ago.
Wow.
That's how far back. You really have to commit, well in advance to get them on the schedule. And they're incredible. They're drums on the stage that are bigger than a Humvee. I mean, they're huge.
Wow.
Huge drums. And then the physicality and the theatrical spectacle that this company produces is just really amazing. And so we have people coming as far away as Boston, and throughout New England to see this group.
So the acts that you bring on stage, are they are the performers primarily geared towards the students of UMass with the added benefit that you open it up to the public, or is the focus of the performers not necessarily the students, but just what can benefit the community as a whole?
Yeah, I would say that. I mean, yes, we are on the UMass campus, and part of our mission is certainly to present artists that we can also provide access to our students, through workshops, master classes, pre-concert talks, whatever. So whenever we book an artist, part of the agreement is that they need to provide some educational component either for students within the 5 colleges or even out in the community, too. We've done many things in Holyoke, Springfield, Greenfield. So, but really we present artists that reflect our community, whether they're Latino, LGBTQ, Polish, Asian. So that's kind of what we have in mind.
Right. And the ability for you guys as an organization to get these performers to commit to helping the community is, how did you pull that off? Because I have this outsider perception looking in of very very aloof sort of performers that they just want to come in, they want to do their show and go on. So for you to secure them to do some sort of educational aspect to their visit that's a good feather in your cap.
Yeah. Well, and not everyone is going to be like when we have Broadway shows.
Oh, true. Right.
They come in and they go. So it's not
just the nature of their time schedule. Yeah.
Correct. But really, I think a lot of these artists, believe it or not, they know from where they came. So they understand that, there's another generation of artists, and being able to just talk with this artist or, receive some constructive criticism of how they perform on their violin or their saxophone means a lot, and so...
Now, are the students on campus, are they involved in the production, in any of the productions, from a lighting, audio, or do these groups bring in their own people? You just sort of provide the venue? Oh, no. We have a highly experienced production crew, but within that crew, we hire students. We do our
entire Fine Arts Center runs, with student help for sure. So whether, it's the box office, we have students working there, backstage, in our galleries, in our administrative offices, and it provides those students with incredible experience because they leave here with hands-on experience. So
that's an incredible benefit to be a student at UMass and have these sort of performers come through and have that accessibility.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, we're up against our next break. I got to get Jay to turn around and hit the use the mouse on the computer there. So, Sean, we're going to take another quick break. Thanks some of our underwriters, and we will be right back.
Okay.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Bay State Dental. Comprehensive dentistry at 14 convenient locations in Springfield, Chicopee, Longmeadow, West Springfield, Belchertown, East Longmeadow, Ludlow, Northampton, Greenfield, and Wilbraham, as well as 29 Broad Street in Westfield. Bay State Dental makes it a priority to help you achieve and maintain the healthy smile you deserve. On the web at baystatedental.com.
We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646. Friday mornings is something different on 89.5 FM. It's JP's Talk About Town.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from the campus of Westfield State University, this is 89.5 FM, WSKB, Westfield.
Good morning again, everybody. It's 8:27 a.m., Friday, June 8th. 62 degrees outside your door, getting up to the low 80s. Going to be absolutely beautiful today, tomorrow, Sunday, Monday. If you didn't know any better, you'd think you'd be living in San Diego, California this weekend because it's going to be beautiful. So we're live back here. My name is Patrick Berry. I'm sub-hosting for Mark Auerbach. This is Artsbeat Radio. Jay, do you know, Mark, is this the... No, he started last week, right? With his summer every Friday. Do you know?
I can't even remember. It's funny. It's
Hi,
all
Jay.
a
My
blur.
name is Patrick Berry. I don't know if we've met before.
Yeah, we have. But it's been a blur for me. The past few weeks have been so busy, and I know that happens. I don't know how that happens, but it happens.
But Mark Auerbach is having a weekly Artsbeat Radio right here, 8 to 9 a.m. every Friday morning on WSKB.
All through the summer.
All through the summer, right up till September. So, but Mark had a prior commitment this morning, so it's one of those things. Hey, how can I help, Mark? Well, hey, here you go, Friday morning. So,
see, that's what you get for raising your hand.
There you go.
But the easy thing about it is, I've gotten to know Sean over the last few years, so it's kind of an easy interview. It's not hard. Sean and I have a good history. Just before we went to break, Sean, we were talking about the students getting involved in the productions up there, and I think, the kids helping out and working at the Fine Arts Center is such an incredible life experience for them. But I shared this story with you, I think the first time I was up there at the big stage. When you walk in that room, it's sort of, it's huge. It's a concert hall. I mean, it truly is. And then as I sat there, I watched the performance, and about midway through, I think at intermission, I looked around because the lights came up, and I noticed it was like a big cave. It's all cement. And,
it is,
and it caught me off guard because the acoustics in there, just by the look of the facility, it doesn't look like it would happen properly. So afterwards, I come back here, and I just happened to be talking to Jay, and I shared it with him. And Jay he's a sound and engineering guy, so he goes, "Yeah, isn't that weird?" So
first time I walked in there, I walked in the room. I go, "Oh, this can't sound good," and I was blown away. So was there a special design when they built it, or was there a wonderful PA audio engineer that was able to fix it? Or was it luck, or a combination of all of the above? I don't know if that's something that you were familiar with, Sean.
Well, not entirely. Let me tell you, though, it's not always perfect. Let me just say that. It does require good sound people and
It does,
on
yes.
audio mastery, if you will, to, especially for the spoken word, Broadway, that kind of thing. If it was really designed to be an orchestra.
Right.
So if you have an orchestra in there, it sounds fantastic, right? Or any kind of big ensemble type music thing. And once you get it is, as you say, a lot of concrete. And what we've started to do is, for performances where we know it's not going to sell out, where we're going to be filling the mezzanines and balconies, we put up this big curtain like behind section 5.
Helps with the sound.
Helps so much, because that's usually you have that's like 1,000 people, and that's for theater, spoken word, that kind of thing. That's perfect. So then we have some fabric soaking up some of that sound rather than bouncing off the concrete.
That makes a big difference.
Oh, absolutely.
And you just
bodies,
essentially drop it in half. You're cutting it half.
Right.
What's the full capacity of the room?
You stole my question.
Sorry.
We'd like to say it's like 1950.
No kidding.
Complete, that's with no soundboard taken out, with the pit seats.
That's huge.
Yeah.
I believe that's one of the biggest rooms here in Western Mass.
I think so. I'm not sure what the capacity is at Symphony Hall.
I was just thinking that. I don't think it's
close.
1900.
Then now we have something we're going to have to ask Mark. I'm sure Mark knows.
Mark would know.
Oh, if there was only some technology we could look this up with.
And back to the technical aspect, and I'm all about. I love producing shows, the production, rolling it in, making it smooth. How is the load-in process there? I have not had the luck of being able to see backstage and what you have for facilities there. When you bring a production in, because sometimes, here comes a tractor trailer, let's roll it in the door. What is involved in that? And how big can you bring that in? That's a huge stage.
Well, it is a huge stage, and believe you me, there have been some shows that we've had to turn down because they're just too big.
Mm-hmm. As big as it is, it's not big enough.
That's right. So, especially like, some of the recent Broadway shows that just have, sets and, the whole production is so huge that it won't fit in the freight elevator, and we can't get it in the door.
Wow. So you're not at street level. That has to go down a story.
It has to go
two.
down through a freight elevator, correct.
Wow. I never even picked up on that the stage is lower than...
Yeah, it's kind of
Again,
freaky.
it wasn't designed for,
It was
they
an
weren't
orchestra.
looking ahead like, maybe they want to do big Broadway shows here. They were thinking about getting a piano or a,
When was
some
it,
kettle drums.
When was it
downstairs.
built, Sean, do you know?
In 1975.
So it's not
we
that old.
We opened in 1975.
So it's really not that old. Wow.
It isn't.
It was when the state built everything out of concrete.
Yeah, right. I know.
That's right.
So the old.
In fact, we have the distinction of being one of the ugliest buildings in the state.
But it works.
I kid you not. There was a Boston Globe article where someone said it looks like a pug that has been run over by a concrete truck or something like that. I mean, just like, really, very hurtful. Very hurtful. Yeah.
So luckily for the interweb, 2611 is Symphony Hall.
Wow.
Okay.
I didn't think it was near. I thought it was 1,000 less than that.
It's deceiving
so that's
because
huge.
that's got a third balcony in it or a second balcony.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Wow.
It doesn't look that big when you're in there.
No,
though,
that's why it's funny because your facility seems larger. I don't know why.
Yeah.
That
It's
seems
the
larger.
big space. Symphony Hall has the balconies that make it look a lot more intimate.
Plus, we have continental seating, so there's no aisle down the middle. It just stretches from one side to the other, so it looks bigger. Yeah.
Right. I forgot about that. Yeah. Whereas Symphony Hall has 3 aisles.
Right.
Yeah, good point. So just shifting back to the upcoming performances this year. So you said, the latter part of September 27th, 8th, and 9th is the season kickoff with the jazz celebration. Mm-hmm. What's next after that?
Well, let's see. What's next after that? Well, one thing I want to talk about is our dance, because
the facility's pretty well known for its dance performances, right?
Yes, because we can handle, really large dance companies, and that's one thing we can do. So, and we're very lucky in Massachusetts, especially Western Massachusetts, because in the summer we have Tanglewood and Jacob's Pillow and all sorts of things happening in the Berkshires and right here in the Valley. So we like to consider ourselves as the Jacob's Pillow from, September through April.
Gotcha.
Because we present equally renowned dance companies here, and we get it started with, I mentioned them earlier, an Indian dance company called the Nitrigram, and they're performing with Sri Lanka's Chitrasena Dance Company. And the New York Times named the Nitrigram Dance Ensemble as the best dance company for 2 years in a row. And that
Wow.
and they'll be performing with live music, so which will be, very, very interesting.
That's excellent.
And then later in October, we'll have the Northwest Dance Project out of Portland, Oregon. And they're going to be doing a work based on Ibsen's Hedda Gabler. And if anyone is interested in checking out any of these artists that I've mentioned, you can go to our website and you can see video
that's
of these
cool.
artists. Yeah, so if you're like, I don't know, go check it out. But the Northwest Dance video of Hedda Gabler is amazing. So you should just go check it out.
Is it UMass/FAC.com? What's the website?
Very easy, fineartscenter.com.
Oh, geez, that's even better.
Yeah, very easy, very easy.
One of the things we're on the topic of dance, a few years ago, I brought my daughter who graduates tonight. She is a big dancer. Invited and my wife and a couple of the girls that my daughter dances with to see Alvin Ailey, because that is.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they're world.
They're the best.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And on the drive home, my daughter and her friends were just, they could not believe what they saw. It was one of those things where, the kids do great on stage at their recitals or their competitions. And the point of me bringing them and showing them this was, this can be a career. This is,
exactly.
Those people on stage were no different than you at your age. Out working on, at dance competitions and working and honing their craft. But like I said earlier in the show today, was it's great for the kids to go see this, see the performances because of that aspect. It's here's what you can do with this.
Yeah, exactly.
So I love the fact that for good or bad, I'm a dance family. I have a house full of girls. I had a softball player for a little while until she bailed on me.
You're not a member of the troupe, are you?
No.
Just asking.
No, I just sit and clap. But yeah. So to see the dance performances that come across your stage are just it's wonderful to see that. And I don't know. I mean, you mentioned Jacob's Pillow and Tanglewood and a few others. I don't know if any of the other venues really have the caliber of performers that you guys bring through.
Well, yeah, I think. Yeah, I mean, I'd like to think that we are, the leaders in this area for that. But, I think, we just do it differently.
Right.
I think, there's the Hawks and Reed Center in Greenfield, and there's Gateway City Arts in Holyoke, and of course Symphony Hall. And I think we all present certain art forms, but they present mostly music, I would say.
Right.
But we present things that you aren't going to see anywhere else, because no one can take that kind of risk of presenting. It's a risk, You're not going to make boatloads of money presenting, avant-garde jazz ensembles.
Right. It's a very narrow audience you're targeting.
Right, or world music. Those are niche audiences, but that's part of our mission, is to present, artists and their stories and their artistic expressions from their culture.
It's interesting because I use this phrase with a lot of people. And so when you're in business, you have two avenues do something that no one else is doing, or if someone's doing it, do it better.
It better, right.
And the Westfield News Group and UMass Fine Arts Center kind of fall into both of those because other people are doing what we're doing, so we have to do it better. So,
right.
So your lineup of performances is, I mean, there's performances all over the Berkshires, Worcester, Hartford, wherever you might go. But to your last point, create a wider variety of acts. So do it a little bit better. Offer, don't target that niche audience. Offer a much wider array of performances.
Well, and also we'd like to think that because we've really reduced the capacity for next year, so you'll experience a lot of these artists in a smaller venue. It won't be the 1,900 seats. It might be 1,000. It might be 800 or 500. So that we present it in the venue that will provide the best experience, the most intimate, engaging experience, rather than trying to watch an intimate theater piece in a huge concert hall.
Right.
There's something lost in that.
Right. So we have to take one more break, Sean. It's 8:41 in the morning. You're listening to Arts Beat Radio. I'm Patrick Berry, subbing in for Mark Auerbach today. Like I said, we're going to take a break. Thanks some of our underwriters. We'll be right back.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Commercial Distributing Company of Westfield. Now in its third generation of family ownership, Commercial is one of the premier beverage distributors of Western Massachusetts. The Plasek family and the staff of Commercial Distributing wishes you good times throughout the year and urges you to drink responsibly.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Dunkin' Donut Shops of Westfield and the Sardinia family. It's nice to know that even as the world changes, Dunkin' Coffee remains the same at 7 convenient locations throughout Westfield.
We thank the generosity of our underwriters. For more information, please contact the Westfield State Foundation at 413-572-8646. Friday mornings is something different on 89.5 FM. It's JP's Talk About Town.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB. Live from the campus of Westfield State University, this is 89.5 FM WSKB Westfield.
Good morning again, everybody. The clock just ticked 8:43 a.m. Friday. I almost said Thursday, Jay. It's not Thursday. This is Friday mornings for Patrick. It is Friday morning, June 8th, 2018. 63 degrees outside your door. A beautiful, absolutely beautiful morning. Getting up to 81 degrees today. I'm trying to quickly scroll through my app. 84% humidity, 58% dew point. So it's gonna be nice. It's summertime. It's June. Exactly. So sunrise at 5:15, sunset at 8:25. That's probably the best thing you'll hear out of my mouth all day. Love the long days. So we're live here up at the campus at Westfield State University. We're in the Ely building. Sean Farley, Director of Marketing for the UMass Fine Arts Center, is my guest this morning. Thank you, Sean, for joining us. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me.
So Sean, you were exceptionally kind to me. I want to say a year ago, or maybe even 2 years ago. You and I had lunch, and I brought my daughter Courtney with me, who's graduating tonight, because Courtney was and still is interested in the business of theater. I think she's realized being a performer is, as much as she loves to dance, I think she realizes she can't make a career out of it. But the business of theater and business of venue management intrigues her. So she has accepted and is going to the University of Hartford this fall with business management.
Yay,
so
very good.
Exactly. So how did you get to be where you are today? Were you a performer that sort of morphed over to the business side? How did you get to be where you are?
Well, very much in a similar way that your daughter did. I had my undergraduate degree in dance, a combined major of dance and visual art, and I love dance, but at the same time, while I was going to school, I was also working at the performing arts venue there, like helping sell tickets,
Right.
whatever a student does, hang posters. I worked in the museum as well, and I realized, you know what, I love to dance, but I don't have the, how much do I want to sacrifice?
Right.
In terms
sacrifice as a performer is the right word.
Correct. And I don't know if I have the right stuff for it. I was pretty honest with myself. And I said, but I can go into the business of the arts and stay very close to it. Work for a dance company or work for a venue that presents it, and I got my master's in arts administration and I've been kind of doing it ever since. And I think that's really a smart way to go, is to, if you love the arts, but
Right.
just don't think, you're cut out to be,
And I think
starving in a major city.
Right. Yeah. And one of the things you mentioned, and kudos to you, is you got to be honest with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard sometimes, and I'm very upset at age 50 that I don't have an Academy Award under my belt, but I'm honest with myself.
Give yourself some time, Patrick.
I've got time. And nor am I a PGA champion. So I've come to grips with it. So I own a newspaper group, whatever.
Yeah.
So how long have you been at UMass?
30 years.
Wow, good for you.
I know. So I'm going to be giving away my age here pretty soon. But yeah, 30 years. I started out with the residential arts and sort of moved around from one position to another within the Fine Arts Center, and then ended up in the marketing position for most of the last 27 years.
So what's been the biggest change that you've seen at that venue, or of the types of performances coming through during your time there? Well, it's no longer referred to as ZooMass.
Well, no, we're trying to move away from that.
Right.
Yeah, very much so.
Well, it's funny. I have a brother-in-law who is, how old is Phil? I think he's turning 60 this year. So he went there in the 70s, and that was when it was ZooMass. And it's nothing like that anymore.
No.
At least not like the 70s. It's a different. But I'm sure or has it really? Have the performances sort of been, to use your term, worldly? Have you really tried to remain consistent with the global performers come across the stage?
Yeah, we have, I would say. And one thing I will say, though, is that's changed is the economy. A lot of the big orchestras that used to tour all the time, like we had Boston Symphony, we had London Philharmonic, we had, back in the day, we had all of these major orchestras, and like 2 or 3 of them each season, right?
Right.
Now it's just so expensive for artists, big companies to tour. So when they do tour, they have to charge a lot of money.
Right.
And sometimes we just can't afford that. We can't afford to pay an artist fee of $100,000.
Right.
It's just not,
And it doesn't make sense,
It doesn't make sense.
Right. Because then you got to figure out what kind of ticket price you're going to charge, and then you realize it's not going to work in this market.
Exactly. We don't have major... I would like to say Hartford's outside of our range,
Right.
So we don't have big insurance companies, a lot of corporations in this area. So the median income is fairly low.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And that's a good segue. Do the ebbs and flows of the larger economy affect ticket sales at the venue?
Oh, sure.
Really?
Sure. Yeah, oh, yeah. I mean, when we had that hit, several years ago.
Yeah, the big recession.
Yeah. We were still selling tickets. People were still buying tickets, but, not as, like subscriptions, right?
Right.
Where people would buy 3, 4, or 5 events all at once. and put the money out there all at once. You know, those were down at that time because people were like, "Yeah, I can't. You know, I can't
Right.
put out $400-500 right now." However,